Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It's episode 19 and today we are starting things off outside our freshly finished base area with arguably one of the most hilarious builds. I mean, this is totally ridiculous. I would never... With the sun rising... Hang on, I am going to have to get a screenshot of that. Or is the sun setting? Whatever it is, that looks... Oh my word. That is spectacular. Oh, that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I like to think that in like 2,000 years time, when they come back and they try and work out what our culture is like, there'll be a massive mural of that screenshot somewhere and they'll be trying to piece it all together. Anyway, in today's Hermitcraft episode, we're not actually going to be doing really any work on the gigantic sphere. I mean, there is one thing that I really want to do, which is I want to connect up these walkways because I actually didn't do that in the previous episode, so we'll do that quickly. But other than that, we're actually going to be working down on the island, trying to plan out everything and get everything else in place. Is this any good? Is this setup cool? I mean, it's difficult to say. So I'm going to fill in all of this area with glass so that we actually have a walking place up at the top here. The actual walkways out, I think they look okay, but does that sea lantern need to be synced up with these sea lanterns? I'm sure you'll let me know down in the comment section. It feels really nice to be able to walk between each one of these areas without running into any issues, without having to run around the outside of this thing kind of precariously. And it's also quite nice not having to fly up to the top or jump down into the ocean down at the bottom. It's cool to have like a central elevator that I can use. And I have to say, going down as well, it looks awesome. It looks seriously cool. Look at that. That's like something out of Willy Wonka. I do think this makes things look maybe a lot better. In fact, actually, extending it out so that it matches up with those things, yeah, that's even better. Anyway, moving on from details in walkways and things like that, he scared the... that scared me so much. Anyway, yeah, moving on from that stuff, what we want to do today is we're going to work on the island, as I say, and we're going to be cleaning up some of the details, and we're going to be making it look better. Yeah, I'll work on this. And also, yeah, the cows need to die. Oh my word, I'm not doing a very good job at cleaning this place up, am I? I'm just dismantling the entire island. This is ridiculous. I feel bad for doing this, but it has to be done. Oh no, I could have gotten all that roast chicken from all those chickens, but instead I just burnt it. I think this is the last creeper hole. So that should be the entire place fully cleaned up and made to look a little bit nicer. Look, we don't have any of the mess anymore. So I've got myself some cobblestone, and this is where I'm literally just going to place in a template. A bit like what we did with Hermitcraft Season 4 in the Industrial District. We're going to place in a template which is going to be showing where things are actually going to be located. And I hate to say it, but I think the treehouse might be leaving the island at some point in the very, very near future, aka it might happen in today's Hermitcraft episode. But don't worry, I will build a new one. We're going to create what I like to call the home tree, and I think it's going to be placed inside like a glass dome. I think that might be the way to do it. So that glass dome has actually been planned out to a certain extent, along with a handful of other structures that I've placed in here. So I'm going to try my best to run you through the ones that I've kind of come up with so far. So I thought, well, this one's the portal room, which is currently now spawning mobs. That's not very handy. So we've got the portal room, we have got the mine, which I actually think I might make a tiny bit bigger, or I might place somewhere over here. I don't really know, but then here's going to be the new location of the home tree, and it's going to be quite a big dome over here, and then the tree is going to be up the top, so it's going to be quite nice and tall, which should hopefully fit in with this gigantic build that we have here. Then over here we have got my AFK safe house. So what I want to do is I want to make a secure AFK safe house that you need passwords and things to get into. So I thought that would be good fun because, you know, the hermits are always messing with me while I'm AFK. AFK. Things are getting majorly rearranged because I didn't like the layout that we had before. So let's take out some blocks and start again. Okay, so now we have Nether Portal room over there, the mining room over here, which is probably going to be made a tiny bit bigger than that because that is very, very small. This is now going to be the AFK safe house. Over here, we're going to have the home tree, and that's going to wrap around like this and hopefully just dodge the side of this gigantic build, but also kind of encapsulate a lot of this edge. So it's going to be like a big kind of area out like this, overhanging the edge of the ocean, and that's where the tree's going to be going. Then over here we're going to have our furnace smelters, so we're going to have those stacked on top of one another, and that's going to be a nice and tall build. And then on the other side there isn't really that much space, so I thought I would potentially just kind of leave it be. I mean, there's nothing really that I can think of that I want to be building over here. With that being said, I actually think this is a much better spot for our AFK safe house. With that edge there, I think that will look really, really cool. So we're probably just going to have to repurpose the build area that I created earlier on. Either way, I mean, obviously a lot of this can change. I just want to get a rough idea of what's going on. But this, yeah, this shows how the builds are kind of lining up. It should look cooler once we get some more stuff in. We might even need to add some structural elements to this. Yeah, I think that will look really cool. So I'm going to gather up a bunch of stone because we don't have any stone on us at this point in time. So we're going to gather a bunch of stone so that we can make some stone bricks because they look very structural, and also some stone slabs because, let's face it, I love them and I couldn't do a build without them. I don't think I've ever done a stone mining session without finding diamonds. I should call my mining sessions just stone mining sessions and I'll be rich. So let's see how this concept works then. I've placed stone bricks around the entire base. We've also got stone slabs in that central section there, and I'm just filling in this kind of supportive reservoir. To be honest, I don't know any architectural terms in the slightest, but it's actually just about finished. So let's have a look. I mean, it might look a little bit bland, but we shall see. I don't know. I'm not mad at it. It's a little bit too dark, I think. I think we might need to brighten it up just a tiny bit. No, that doesn't work at all. Okay, no, don't like that. I think this has improved things. So I've taken out the extended sections, but I've left in all of the stone bricks and some of the stone slabs underneath the glass. And I think it's just made it look a little bit more official. Like, it's actually there as opposed to just balancing on top of the grass. So I'm really, really happy with this thing. And I think that just about wraps everything up for the bottom section of the base. So now it's time to actually start work on the surrounding builds. Now, obviously, we're not going to be building all of these in today's Hermitcraft episode. We're going to be working on them over the next couple episodes. But the first one that I want to work on is the portal room. And I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to build it, just no clue. So the first thing that I did is I popped onto Google Images, and that helped very little. So now I've popped it into my redstone testing world, and I guess we can start work on trying to construct something in here. Oof. Turns out the space that I created is actually 15 by 15, so we have a perfect square, which is actually, that's quite handy because that kind of lends itself to futuristic style building. I think I'm just going to go for... I mean, I could almost do what I did in Hermitcraft Season 3 with the redstone build consultancy that I built. I could do something similar to that. It almost looked like an Apple store. I really don't know what to do. Right, this is the base that I've come up with to start things off. And... I mean, it looks okay. Do you think I should maybe get rid of the sea lanterns? Maybe. What if we get some carpet on top of them? Okay, that looks pretty cool. So if we get those, the redstone testing world is so laggy in 1.13. I don't know what's going on with it. But then if we get this going on, and then maybe have like a 1 block gap, and then have some glass panes in there. Don't like that. Really don't like that. I don't know what to do here because I kind of want it to be a tiny bit taller, but nothing too crazy. I have gone completely crazy with quartz on this one. We're going to need to do a pretty serious quartz mining session because although it doesn't, I suppose it doesn't really look like much, but that is at least 2 hours of quartz mining, I would say, to build this thing. But it does look really, really cool. And I'm imagining it next to the gigantic sphere thing. I think it will look, yeah, that will look impressive. And then the Nether Portal obviously will go up the inside of this thing. I like it a lot. I like the little grey accent on the inside there. We haven't gone overboard with the stone slabs, which is always nice. We've got like a solid theme to the build. I think this is great, and it's super futuristic. I mean, that is like the definition of a futuristic build. Even with the lighting and the little glass panes there. I need to get better at like little details in my builds. That's one thing that I definitely need to work on. But for now, yeah, I think this is the one that we're going to build. So to build it, we're going to need a whole bunch of sand and a whole bunch of gravel, which you obviously expected because that is basically the story of Hermitcraft Season 6. I don't think an episode has gone by where I haven't had to say those words. So let's see here then. How is it looking in the context of the rest of my base? That gives you an impression of how massive this build is. Oh my word. Look how tiny all other builds look compared to this thing. What the heck? What on earth am I gonna do? Nothing is gonna look even close to the size of this massive gigantic thing that I've constructed. What on earth was I thinking? Okay, we're gonna have to up the scale of that. Maybe add in another module. Thankfully the design is actually repeatable, so it should look okay. But I think I'm gonna take the night out to just try and think things through, because this has really put things into perspective for me, oh my word. For once we actually had a successful AFK session, and once I've come back into the server, I think this build's pretty cool. So, we're going to go on a quartz mining session, 1 hour, let's see if I can get this done. So in today's super fast time-lapse chat, I want to talk to you about base plans, things that I want to do to my base. Now, the first thing I want to say is that in a recent episode of Hermitcraft, I took down the glass tube around the power beam. And here's the thing, okay, in the episode before that, I asked you in a poll to tell me if I should actually keep it or get rid of it. But because I'm silly and I'm pre-recording these Hermitcraft episodes, by the time that video released, I still hadn't seen the figures of the poll. In fact, that video only just released yesterday and I finally saw the figures of the poll. Turns out that, yeah, 80% of you wanted me to keep the glass, so I might try re-implement that back into the base, because by the looks of things it was actually quite popular. But also, I just want to say that there was a person on Twitter, rGebby, who sent over an amazing drawing of my base, like a beautiful kind of artistic recreation of my base, and also some potentially really good ideas for what you could do for structural elements, because I still feel like we're kind of lacking some structural parts. So there's some really nice stuff in there with, I guess, kind of smoothing off certain things and adding some parts of the base that should hopefully make it look a little bit more solid. So that's something that I'm going to look into maybe over the next couple episodes or at some point in the near future. We've been doing a lot of base work lately, so I think for now I'm going to stick with working on the island, but we might come back to the base and add a few bits when we have some better ideas. That was pretty successful. We managed to get ourselves almost a full shulker box of quartz and then a handful more stacks as well, which should hopefully, fingers crossed, be enough to actually do this, to actually get this thing constructed. I'm not really sure. Yeah, thankfully, I definitely think this is going to be enough, because I've done the first 2 layers of the blocks, then we just have the stairs going around in the gaps, and as I mentioned the other day, we're actually going to increase the height of this thing to make it slightly less tiny. It looks so small next to this gigantic build, so I guess we're going to have to scale up everything. Everything's going to have to be quite big here to match up with this. Yeah, that's a tiny bit better. It still looks tiny, don't get me wrong, it's still not a particularly big build, but it does look cool. I'm feeling good about this. And also in terms of the quartz, so you can see the bottom one will be that way, then this central one will be like that with stairs in between, and then this one will be the upside down version of that one. So it's kind of going to be a mirrored build. We're going to have symmetry in the upside down. But it was looking very, very dark, so we need ourselves some sea lanterns, and I can't believe Iskala's charging 4 diamonds per sea lantern. I know what it's like to have a guardian farm. Okay, you get stacks of sea lanterns within seconds, and he's charging 4 diamonds. So I do believe this is all of the quartz in place, and also all of the sea lanterns in place. I just want to do a quick light level check. So that is a light level of 9. If we take a look over here, I suppose nothing can spawn on top of these blocks. So we should be totally fine. This build should be fully lit up. I don't think anything's going to be spawning there. And this is what it looks like so far. And that is really, really cool. That looks fantastic. Oh, I'm so excited to get this island all built up with a bunch of different things. Oh my, this is gonna look awesome. This is gonna look seriously cool. If we can stick to this color theme, at least for the entire island, we are gonna be set. That is gonna be, okay, I'm gonna keep building. We've used grey concrete in the gaps between the white concrete, and oh my word, I've got dolphin power. Right, let's make the best of that. Do they not drop ink sacks anymore? Do I? Okay, so I'm a little bit lost. That squid seemed to explode with ink, but not drop an ink sack. Does that mean I now need to use like a bucket? Do I have to catch the ink? Also, because there's so many fish and dolphins and everything like that around, there doesn't seem to be very many squid spawning. These dolphins, though. Oh, wow. Okay, we've jettisoned straight into the area. Okay, we've got ourselves one ink sack. Do they drop them less now? Is that what's happening? We now actually have a solid structure. Apart from, I've just realized none of the glass is actually in place. How have I not noticed this entire time that the glass isn't in? Okay, I hope I've got a load of white stained glass. I'm fairly certain I have tons left over from taking out this gigantic tube. So, I guess I'll have to use that, and I'm getting out the way of this guy. Right, now we actually have a solid structure, and we have a roof on it, and we have, well, everything completed. This is the build. In all of its glory, there it is, finished and complete, and it is looking really quite cool. Now, the only thing is, I don't know about the size of that window. I feel like maybe we should make those central windows a little bit bigger. You'll have to let me know down in the comment section on that one. But I am absolutely chuffed to bits with this one. If we can keep this theme going throughout all of the builds, this little island right here is going to end up looking really, really cool. And I absolutely love this guy. Okay, let's do the interior now. We still have a tiny bit more work to do. Now I'm thinking, I reckon we should have a gigantic nether portal in here. And you know what? I think is that obsidian there? That looks like a bunch of obsidian, so that's very helpful because I think we should have a nether portal that's really quite tall. I don't know how tall just yet, but I feel like it needs to be bigger than the usual nether portal. Oh, I must admit, I don't know if nether portals can actually be as tall as the nether portal that I've created here, but regardless, I like it. I like the idea anyway. Okay, here goes. Does it actually work? And, boop. Yes, you can have a nether portal that tall. That's spectacular. Okay. Now we need to actually link this thing up. So I need to get the coordinates. 796 by minus 932. Okay, divide by 8. That's what we get in the nether. So that is that, ladies and gentlemen. This is now fully connected up to the nether. It is now functioning as a nether portal room. And it is the first build that we have got on the island, apart from, obviously, our gigantic structure right here. So I'm feeling good about what we've managed to pull off in today's Hermitcraft episode. Not only did we actually get this thing connected up, so we now have working access to our storage system, but we've also planned out all of the builds that we want to be doing, which is very important because I was so lost. I've been stressing out over the past couple of days trying to work that out. So now we kind of know where things are going, but we have a design style. And that is tricky for someone like me who's not a particularly, I'm not really much of a builder myself, and I'm definitely not a futuristic builder. I've never really built in a futuristic style. For someone like me to get an actual design style going, so a lot of the builds that we're going to be doing are kind of going to be mimicking that sort of style. That's amazing. This is like a massive, massive milestone for the Hermitcraft series, because from here, this is how we're going to be building around this area and kind of building up this island, and then the farms around as well, they're kind of going to be in almost a similar style to this. So this is where the base expands from, this sort of thing. This was just a big project that got out of hand, but this is kind of where we're going to be sitting. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait to share it with you. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that is all I've got time for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.